Sunday is my favourite day to walk to work, mainly because it's so quiet and everybody who's out is out for a good time. They're out for brunch, they're out to go shopping, they're with friends or family, or just like unwinding. So it's very, very different to a, what's it called? Working week day? There you are. I've never done a working week. I don't know what that means. We don't really have them in the theatre. Even rehearsals go to Saturdays. But yeah, it's nice to walk in. It's not raining at the moment, which is lovely. I've got printer ink in my bag. It's finally been picked up by me. Arrived yesterday, but I forgot about it. So we've been struggling a little bit with printer ink because the place that we use is so great. It is much, much cheaper than getting it from Officeworks, but incredibly unreliable delivery. So we've gone for a second option, which was a little bit more expensive, so it would actually arrive in time before we left. I think we've been printing quite a bit because we printed 2 front copies and a whole bunch of other stuff. Whereas like the printer ink seemed to last a little bit longer earlier, but then again, we've just printed a lot more things. So fair enough. It's Sunday, double show day. Marie's coming in to say hello, which is really exciting. She's been working on Joseph for the last month. We missed her terribly, but also it's very exciting that she's been doing this brand new show that's been brought over from the West End. She's just picking up some stuff that she couldn't quite manage to carry home, which is great. So we'll say hello and we'll do a little bit of work on the warm-up. We've got some arranged cast absences, so it's going to be a bit of a fun show. And that's a good thing. Like, I don't look at cast absences as like, oh, it's the worst. Like, in a show of this scale, it's actually not the worst, and there's enough resources to cover as long as people don't abuse the system, like all leave. And I do think it's important for people to have leave because that's how you don't burn out. And there are things in life that are more important than work, like mental health or seeing your family, or, I don't know, holidays. Is that what people use leave for? I have actually never taken leave, so I don't really... I mean, the reason I haven't taken leave is usually the contract is so short that there is no point in trying to take leave. Like, you are better off saving that leave for when you get to the end of the contract and you're like, okay, well, those extra 4 days will tide me over between now and the next job that I have. So you should take the holidays when you can, and it makes being unemployed just feel a little bit better. There is a street sweeper going past, and it is the loudest, slowest thing in the world. But lucky for me, I get to move ahead. Bye, street sweeper. Street sweeper. But yeah, double show, end of the week. It's been a good week. Where we need to be, everything's been done. The only thing that I haven't quite managed yet is to put our conversation about Bump Out into a usable list, but I've got today to do that, so we're going to do that. And I also just want to make sure that we've got a little bit more foresight in Sydney about rosters, so I'm going to help myself out and try and design that. And I have to do chair allocations, which I've designed a spreadsheet for, which makes my life a lot more easier. The only things that it's missing is like the essential deck plot cues that are necessary when you've got certain standbys on, because I did the deck plot last night, that's right. Went off without a hitch, although I did discover that there was a little section that got changed slightly, and it's been changed for the better, which I'm very pleased about. It's just smoothed out, rather than like dresser holds this, I receive that, we swap items like 3 times. We're just going to streamline it. But I learned the old version, so it came up and the dresser's like, do you know what you're doing here? I'm like, yeah, of course, I know this. I learned this in the Gold Coast. And then it started and I was like, oh God, it's all different. Because she was like, you usually stand over here. So I stood in this new spot and I was like, okay, just go with it. But it's fine, you know, that's like one thing in the entire show. But I did find that I was really glued to the plot. So I am going to do little pocket cheat sheets for myself, because I just 6 weeks between doing deck plots is too long, and I'm really excited for when Emma can get her call up independently without supervision, because we can start sort of carving up the jobs a little bit more squarely, so that there is, you know, I would like to be doing a deck plot at least once a week. I don't think twice a week is a good idea, with also the teaching that needs to happen, but once a week means that I'll actually be a useful member of the team if someone goes down. At the moment, I am most useful calling the show and doing everything else. And I've got to learn stage left. I haven't done that yet. I've done shows before where like the stage manager learns one side and the DSM learns the other side, and that's fine, but this is quite a long tour, and my goal is that everybody's comfortable in all positions, and then, you know, you're most comfortable in the thing you learned first, or the thing you know the most about, of course, but let's make everybody an asset wherever they go. That's the plan. I mean, I don't mind if we get to the point when we're far enough along that somebody learns a bit of wigs, somebody learns a dressing plot, like that's useful stuff. ASM's knowing dressing plots is very smart actually, because particularly when we're going to places where we're only there for 4 weeks, knowing what the dresser should be doing is much more useful. And they've basically picked it up anyway, but it's just a second pair of hands to help. But I don't want to overload people. We've got to go bit by bit and make sure everything that's learned feels solid. As somebody who doesn't have solid learning on stage left, it's useless. Like, I would be like glued to the plot, being like, what does this mean? Where do I stand? What was this? Which means you're not actually doing your job properly. You're barely executing what you need to do on stage. But yeah, tomorrow's a day off. I'm going to catch up with a friend. We also have work from home on Tuesday. It's a thing that like I've introduced because there are more hours in the week, but bringing people in for like a 4-hour call on the Tuesday when no one else is really working apart from the maintenance team seems like a surefire way for your team to hate you, particularly when there's work from home things that can be done, like prompt copy practicing, calling practicing. There's some files that need updating, there's logs that need to be polished up. There's such a long list of things that like just need a facelift, a lot of computer work. So it's a gift from me to the team. Work from home, I'm certainly going to be coming in. Wish I could work from home, but I find that if I do, I don't get as much done as I really should. And the office is open, so I'll probably just come in. You know, I'd rather get 4 hours of quality work done than 5 hours of crap work, or 5 hours that actually takes 7 hours. I'd rather have like that more defined and more efficiently run for myself, so I get a break. Yeah, oh my gosh, I'm almost at the theatre, but my arm is killing me. So it's time to say goodbye, time to do 2 shows and celebrate that this is the penultimate week that we've completed. I don't remember how many weeks I'm up to now of running the team. Is it 4? Is it 5? Something like that. It's long enough that I actually feel like I know what I'm doing now, which is lovely. But we'll see if that lasts through the bump out and bump in process.